All right, real story time. The year was like 1978, and it was my birthday, and so all of my mother's side of the family came over. It was my grandfather, Papa Gas, my grandmother, and my aunts and uncles, and my sister was there, my older sister, and I was happy because my aunt Jennifer was coming over because she was the only one with a baby or with a child or whatever, and it was my cousin Oogie Man, and and we called him Oogie Man because he used to love that song, and it'd be like get down, boogie oogie oogie, and anytime he heard it, he'll just break it to the robot, whenever and wherever. So like we're in church one Sunday, and I'm like, get down with Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And he got up and started doing the robot. He just liked that groove. And my Jennifer snatched his ass down and she gave him that look. You know, that you about to get your ass whooped when we get home look. And my mother didn't even look at me. She just said, mm-hmm. I don't know what happened to you, man, when he got home, but when we got home, before the door could even close, my mother said her four word catchphrase, "Go get the belt." So I was happy he was at the party, and so me, him, my my sister Judy, and my aunt Jackie. Jackie was older than me, but younger than my sister. Not saying my grandma was in these streets. Not saying that. And so we're sitting at the kids' table. We're enjoying cake and ice cream and Flavor Aid, having a great time. All the elders, they're at the big table. They're like drinking, smoking cigarettes, other things, gambling. They're playing Pacino and shit, listening to Rudy Ray Moore records and shit. Like, it was my birthday, but it clearly was not my party. Judy and Jackie, they went upstairs to listen to Smokey Robinson or some shit. I don't know what they were doing. Oogie Man, he had to go up and lay down because he was eating all the cake and ice cream like it was his birthday. And his stomach hurt, and I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna stay here. I had got a Evil Knievel, and so I put it in my backpack. And my mother says, Arthur, you can take it outside, but don't lose it. I said, yes, ma'am. And so I'm walking down the street with Evil Knievel in my backpack, about to go have him jump over shit. And I see Lassie, and Lassie says, Bird. I said, man, it's my birthday. He said, what you get? And then I took Evil Knievel out of my backpack, and I seen his eyes. He was like, Evil Knievel. And then he had he had a look in his eyes. That's all I know. He said, hey, let's go roll down the hill. And I was like, man, I like getting dizzy. You know what I'm saying? So we went to his backyard and put the Evil Knievel there. We rolled down the hill, got back up to the top. Evil Knievel's gone. I was already dizzy, but then I got way more dizzy. And I was like, man, what happened to Evil Knievel? And he says, I don't know. Maybe Wee Wee got him. And Wee Wee lives next door. So I knocked on Wee Wee's door. Wee Wee was cool. Wee Wee was cool. It's kind of weird, though, because he didn't hang with us. He would be out with the girls, like, playing double dutch and jacks and shit, learning how to braid hair, and eating pickles, sucking lollipops and shit like that. Like, whatever. So I'm banging on Wee Wee's door. And so he comes down, and he has a lollipop in there. And I was like, where's Evil Knievel, you lollipop-legged loser? He was like, I don't even know what that is. It's like, you do. And he said, you can come in my house and search it if you want to. I don't got it. And so I went in there and I searched this house like it was like I was the DEA conducting a drug bust and shit. I'm in couch cushions and shit. I'm even in his mama's room. You know, I flipped over her mattress. Seen seen some shit. Seen some shit out there. I don't know what that shit was, but it was not Evil Knievel. And so he's like, you want to listen to some records? I said, yeah. He should have said a record because we listened to the same song for like 45 minutes. I said, do you have any other records? He said, no. I said, well, I'm about to be out of here. I'd rather get the whooping and hear this song again. So I go back home and I walk in and now everybody's in the living room and my Uncle Edward, he's playing the records. Papa Gas is sitting on the couch, sipping on a drink. My grandmother is looking pissed off for some reason. My Aunt Jennifer is in the corner with a beer in her hand and her hands in the air like, ooh it, ooh it. My mama's on the dance floor by herself. And she sees me like, come dance with your mama. And I hated dancing with my mama. But today I was about to dance my ass out of a whooping. That's what I was about to do. I'm doing all the moves. Everything I seen on Soul Train, Saturday Night Fever, the Peanuts, Sesame Street, any dance move. So I'm pulling out all the stops. And then she says, go ahead and get it. And I was like, damn. Go ahead and get it. How'd she find out that I don't have Evil Knievel no more? Because I thought she was talking about the belt. And so I played stupid. I said, go get what? And she said, Evil Knievel. Let me see what you got for your birthday. And I said, I don't have Evil Knievel no more, Mama. And she says, what happened? Did you lose it to your little friend, Little Hand Larry, in a game of thumb wrestling? I said, no, ma'am. And before I could say anything, Papa Gas says, Little Hand Larry, is that Waterhead's Willie's grandson? And I said, I don't know, Papa Gas. I've never met his grandfather. I said, but his mother is Miss Donita. And then my uncle smiled and he was like, down to do it, Donita. I was like, down to do what? And before, like, without missing a beat, my mother was like, down to find Evil Knievel's ass. And so they all started laughing and shit. So I joined in with the shit. Yeah. My mama said, what are you laughing at? I said, you said ass. And she says, as in, I'm going to be yours if you don't come back here with Evil Knievel. Now go find it. So I leave. And I'm walking down the street. And I bump into my best friend Chris and Little Hand Larry. They're sitting down throwing rocks and shit. They're sitting on the curb throwing rocks. And Little Hand Larry sees me first, of course. And he's like, Bird. And he's like, Chris, it's Bird. And he's like, yeah, you want to come and throw some rocks with us? I said, no, man, I got to go find my Evil Knievel. And Chris said, you got an Evil Knievel? I said, not no more. And he said, we'll help you look for it. And so we're walking around looking for it. And I don't know if you ever looked for some shit with a person that doesn't see so well, but that shit gets irritating like super quick. Because every like 30, 40 seconds, Chris was like, did you find it? Did you find it? Did you find it? Like, no. Nigga, I didn't find him. But I was like, thanks for the moral support type shit. And so, we played for hours. We probably looked for Evel Knievel for about 20 minutes. We played for 3 hours and shit. And now it's only 1 o'clock in the afternoon because the party started super early and shit. So I go home and I open the door and the party's like winding down. It's wound down. The only people there is my Aunt Jennifer, Jackie, and Oogie Man. And my mother's sitting on the couch listening to the radio and shit, drinking a beer, smoking a cigarette. she see that I don't have Evel Knievel. And she's like, go get the belt. And right then, Boogie Oogie Oogie comes on the radio and shit. And man must have been feeling way better because he busts right into the robot. And then he started doing it. He turned around and looked at me and said, you about to get a whooping. And he was right. The crazy part about this story is, when I was in Seattle like 30 years later, I was coming out of a club. Just got finished rapping. And I heard somebody say, Bird, Bird. And I turned around, and it was this guy that knew me. I said, no one's called me that in 30 years. But he knew me from back then. Lived on the same street, named Corky. And he says, you know, Leslie lives up here too. I said, call Leslie. I want to hang out with him. And so Leslie came over, and so we're sitting down there and chopping it up. And then I just come out and ask him, like, where is Evel Knievel? And he was like, man, I don't even know what you're talking about. And he knew what I was talking about because I asked for about 20 minutes. And then he says, yeah, I took him. You got enough money. You can buy another Evel Knievel now. Like, I don't want one now. I wanted one then. And so the moral of this story is, if when it's your birthday and you have an Evel Knievel and Leslie asks you to come, invite you to his house to roll down the hill, don't do it, because he's going to steal your Evel Knievel and blame it on Wee Wee.